been Dragon Ball Super Dope. My name is Kyle. Thank you for checking this out. Josh is laughing because I just very abruptly cut into the public cut from our Patreon pre-show, but we are here to talk about episode 7, I believe, of Dragon Ball Daima, entitled Collar. I'm joined by Josh of Dad's Anime Stache Adventure, a Digimon-focused podcast. How you doing, man?
We're doing good. How about you?
I'm doing fucking terrible, but I'm here, baby. I'm here. And then Raysean Gadson Anime Podcast, my favorite partner in crime. Raysean Gadson, what's up, man?
Chilling like a villain. Ooh.
We just had a long pre-show discussion about how Raysean genuinely felt he was the person to coin the term chilling like a villain. If you want to support the show and learn more about that interesting backstory, there's a link to the Patreon in the show notes. So we're going to talk about
how many people have you heard it before?
Everyone, every single person who will hear this has heard the term chilling for like a villain before you said it. So we're going to talk about episode 7, Collar, today. This was, I said it to you guys before we hit record. This was like the first one where I was sort of like, I enjoyed it, but I was like, all right, this is a little bit fillerish, and I kind of just don't really care for much what's going on in this plot piece of it. But also, it did a really good job in moving everything along in a time frame perspective, and we talked about that as well. I give this episode, I know, Raysean, every time I say thumbs up or thumbs down to you, you give me a thumbs in the middle, and I make fun of you. But I genuinely give this episode sort of a thumbs in the middle. Had some good, had some kind of redundant, stupid shit. How do you feel, Ray? Thumbs up, thumbs down? Thumbs up?
A thumbs up. I thought it was a pretty decently paced episode. We finally got to see our other heroes make it to the demon world, and they're in the third demon world, so we know they're actually there. So we know what's about to be the next thing for the next episode. We're gonna see a nice fight. We didn't get to see a real fight in this. Yeah, we did get to see a little bit because we did get to see Shin do some stuff, which I wanted to see. So I mean, we got to see some things. So yeah, I'm gonna give it a thumbs up. It's not like a thumbs up plus, but it's like a thumbs up. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's like it's not an S, it's not an S plus, it's like an A plus. Josh, thumbs up, thumbs down. How'd you feel, man?
Thumbs up. This was one of the most important episodes we've seen so far. You guys are downplaying it so much.
So?
That's what I thought. This is a pretty great episode, especially for like the fact that we got to see some enslavement stuff right here too. I mean, this was a pretty deep episode for real.
Okay. I think this episode has given us the most information we've gotten, aside from maybe the first episode.
Yeah, I thought it was a little redundant in both the front and pieces of the back, but I was happy to see the Tamagami come into play finally, so that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like other than that, it was like, oh, these collars are a problem. Why is that? Oh, they can track you with them.
I'm going to say though,
yeah,
I'm about to fuck this name up. The Tamagami.
It's like a Tamagotchi, but a Gami at the end. You know what a Tamagotchi is, or are you too young for that?
No, not really.
Do you think you made up the term? Do you think I made up the term Tamagotchi? No, I'm just kidding. It's Tamagami.
Tamagotchis are real. They were a big thing.
Yep. Like the little egg things that you had on a keychain that you used to have to like feed and take care of and pick up their shit and stuff.
I'm going to say the design disappointed me a little bit.
Okay.
I thought it would look a little bit more, I don't know, like, ooh. I mean, like more scary, you know what I mean? But it didn't give that to me. But this could still just be the first one, you know what I mean? We still got 2 more to see, but
we've seen the second one already. We've seen them all.
Have we seen them all?
I mean, not like really, but you see pieces of all 3 of them throughout the trailers. Not the trailers, the intros and outros of the shows. So we have seen them, but like
maybe they transform or something. I don't know. This just to me doesn't.
When they were talking
like
about sorry, Ray. When they were talking about the Tamagotchis, they showed all 3 of them. When they were talking about how Old Man Namek created them, it showed them all 3 together. Yeah. But it wasn't that long. But they all remind me of Jiren. Just a very bland design.
Really? I thought that this one was like a robust weirdo with a big hammer, and that but like presumably as they go through Tamagami's 3, as we saw today, then to 2, then to 1, they'll probably get a little bit more like
maybe they all
and proper. I mean, I don't know if the three of them would fuse because you have to beat each one within its own demon world. So I don't think the three of them will ever meet up unless that's like the final trick. Like you beat all three of us. Now the Tamagamis are all drawn to the same place and they do a super crazy fusion. And now we need a super crazy fusion.
Dragon Ball.
The design to me doesn't seem like more than one episode enemy to me. It like if this takes more than one episode to beat, it need to transform or it need to be just overwhelmingly strong or some like on some crazy shit like about to take Goku to an inch of his life type of monster. Like,
I mean, it is a really big ass hammer. To be fair, he will.
It is a big hammer, and Goku did point that out.
That surprised me. He did that. He was like, "Oh, he could kill me with that." If I was Shin, that's when I probably would have been like, "Hold up, he could kill you with that." Oh, I've been hyping you up this whole time. You telling me you can die by that? Maybe we might need to do this stuff.
Right. Maybe we better wait for our friends to show up to help your dumbass out.
You scared of that? Oh, shit.
Let's just one hammer, man.
That's exactly how I'm trying to play
it's just one hammer, man. Let's run through the synopsis. There's really no synopsis for this one. I just wrote down some bullet points here. Me and Raysean got into a fight about it pre-show, but this one's called Caller. We pick up where we already know the ship cannot be fixed back on Earth, and that Bulma is short some kind of mysterious element to be able to fix whatever it is they need to fix to be able to make it flyable again. But thankfully, right at that point in time, my new favorite Dragon Ball character of all time, Hybis, shows up.
Love Hybis.
Me too, man. I assume, can we assume gender? I assume Hybis is a dude, right?
Hybis is a dude.
Hybis is totally a dude. Hybis fucks.
Okay, we don't have to assume gender to call Hybis a dude.
Yeah,
Dude's
you're right.
Genderless.
Yeah, you're right. You could use dude in any way, shape, or form.
What I like Hybis, why I fuck with him is the fact that he do not do no extra work without no fucking reward or no incentive. And I fuck with that type of mindset.
But he's very fair. So fair about it.
I act like I can't do that shit too until you give me a reason to do it. You want me to work and do some extra shit? Give me a reason to do it. Other than that, I'm busy. I got a date. Oh, you buy me a pizza? You know, I might get
a pizza with worms. No, and he's very fair about it too. He's like, yeah, man, I'll get you as much pizza as you want. He's like, nope, I didn't say that. I just need one regular size pizza.
One large
That's all I'm
pizza.
asking for. Extra worms, bitch. Hybis shows up to pick them up and bring them to the third demon realm. Kibito, as we talked about the other day, likely he's going to be the one to stay behind. So he's going to sit and hang out with little baby Popo and look after the lookout. I mean, it kind of does and it kind of doesn't. If you have Hybis there to guide you through the demon realm, you don't really need Kibito. However, I think the real reason to keep Kibito on Earth is because he seemingly has wonderful control of his instantaneous movement. He can teleport pretty much anywhere, and he knows the demon realm. You got somebody with instantaneous movement who knows the demon realm like that. This is a much, much shorter story, probably. So they ground him, and then we're going to talk about instantaneous movement in a moment, but yeah, now the gang is off to go join up with Goku and Glorio and Shin and Punzi in the demon realm. So they meaning Goku and Co. They're back on their ship, and he's doing the thing where he's hungry because he's Goku. Ha ha ha! He eats the manpuku dumplings, which I thought it was kind of an interesting callback, sort of to how senzu beans presumably used to work. When senzu beans first show up on the scene, it's like you get 10 days of rest and meals in order to recover from your damage. Now senzu beans are just like a magical healing thing, and no matter how badly you're fucked up, it doesn't matter. It's going to heal you mostly. These manpuku things, it almost works like elven bread from Lord of the Rings too. You eat one of these pieces of elven bread and you're full for like 3 days or whatever. These manpuku breads, they're 2 meals for every bun that you eat. So obviously Goku has to eat at least 2, almost 3 buns before he feels somewhat satisfied. There was one quick line in reaction to this that made me go, ooh, you're really leaning into the Western side of the Dragon Ball fandom with this. Ponzi's like, Jesus Christ, I told you. They're worth 2 meals. Why'd you eat 2 of them? What's wrong with you? How did you raise children? And he's just like, yeah, I wasn't really involved.
And I was like, oh my God, he admitted it.
Hilarious retort.
Which is bullshit. That's straight bullshit. They just wanted him to say that, man. When they
what do you mean it was bullshit?
And they needed to become men Who did they go to? Goku was the person. So he might not have been there to nurse him. I'll give him that.
Who did Goten go to for his first 7 years?
Huh?
Who did Goten go to for his first 7 years? Well, Goku chose to be dead.
You know what? I'm not going to say all the decisions he made was right. You know? But I'm going to say he did, for a significant point of each one of his kids' life, was there and was a big influence over them. So I just don't see why he just would go, I wasn't really, I give Chi-Chi her props. Yeah, she did. She was at home.
Goten.
You got to give her props for that. And I don't want to take that away from her, but I just felt like, dang, don't diminish what you did. You know what I mean? I feel like, to me, this is how I know there's some women in the writing room. Let me take that back.
Or some Dragon, or some fucking Team 4-Star fans. Are you fucking high, dude? Women? You think they got women write television shows in Japan? I'm obviously kidding, but I agree with you guys on the Gohan piece of it. He definitely undersells himself in that moment. And it is supposed to be like a stupid throwaway joke line, and we're overanalyzing it way more than it needs to be. But he was totally there for Gohan. The first 4 years of Gohan's life, he was alive. He was there. He was actively involved. Granted, he died. He came back like a few years later to fight the Saiyans. Goten, I mean, if you think about the timeline on this, Dragon Ball Super hasn't happened yet. Some of my favorite, like, low-key, like, passing kind of stuff. I won't say filler stuff.
Oh, but I mean, he's been here the whole time for Goten. He hasn't died yet.
No, he's already died and come back 7 years later after Boo.
Oh.
Yeah, so he hasn't spent a whole lot of time with Goten, is my point. Some of my favorite, like, passing shit with Goten and Goku in Super is just, like, seeing them be, like, when you see Goku out in the second episode of Dragon Ball Super, and he's out in the field and Goten is out there with him, I just, like, envision that kind of being, like, their father-son time. They, like, spent working out on the farm and doing their thing after he's, like, back on Earth and he's lived and Boo is dealt with. But prior to that, bro, he didn't spend any time with Gohan. So it is kind of like I don't know, this or that. This, he undersells himself with how much he was involved with Gohan's development. But man, he's totally 100% spot on when he's like, yeah, I'm not even really sure what my second kid's name is, but
okay,
like I said,
I give you Goten. Goten, that makes sense.
He did spend an extra year with Gohan.
That's true too.
Because I'm thinking about Super too. I think I probably added in Super time, and I'm thinking like they got like a nice relation. But if you're talking about from the end of Dragon Ball Z. And then Boo, I think he only spent that time from, like, I guess however long they've actually beaten Boo to them all being there at that crew at the end of that little party at the end. So, and to the beginning of this arc. So I don't
not very long. So anyway, we just totally dug into that way more than we had to. I gotta say, I do like the recurring theme in this series about, as you know, rap guys would say. Sometimes they say things like, they're chilling like a villain. Other times they might say, fuck the police. Fuck the police. Yo, fuck them. And this seems to be a very predominant theme so far. And I think it's actually going to build toward like a greater thing in the end. We'll talk about it a little bit more with the collar and shit and all that. But police pull them over again. They want to check their ship, make sure that, I don't know, for some reason they suspect Goku might be on there, although they don't have much of a reason to believe that he might be, based off of their last interaction. But they do want to take Ponzi in for questioning, and she's going to crack under pressure because she's a little kid and all that. They like ransack all their shit. You know what I really loved about this is like Goku. I guess we'll talk about the Goku thing first. They all get nervous and they're like, we got to hide Goku somehow. Oh no, what are we going to do? Shin's like, don't worry, I got this.
Yeah.
And this was a very confusing, low-key way to go about it. But I think it works for the sake of the situation without making Goku too OP for the mission at hand. So like we just said a minute ago, if Kibito shows up to the demon realm, he's instant transmissioning all over the fucking place without issue. If Goku has the familiarity with the demon realm to be able to do what Kibito does, this would be a much, much shorter series. He would just be like, oh yeah, I'm going to the demon realm. I'm going to find Dende. I could track onto Dende's key and do it. I imagine it's supposed to be like a short range kind of thing, maybe. But basically, they come in to search the plane. Goku ducks behind a chair. And when they walk out, Ponzi's like, oh no, he's in there. What are they gonna do?
I didn't like her reactions. Like, you gotta sell it.
What an idiot. Well, I mean, they maybe should have like given her a heads up, like, hey, don't worry.
It don't matter. You gotta sell it. If we get caught, we all going to jail. You sell it to the end. Till he caught, he ain't in that plane. That is what you believe.
The thing is, you can't sell a thing that you're not sure that what it is that you're selling. Like, you got to know what you're selling. And that was the fault, the failure there. She's like, well, where is he? Oh, and then he teleports behind her, tracks on to Shin's key and instant transmissions, instantaneous movements behind her. And she turns around and she's like, like, idiot. Tim Allen, bitch. Listen, the cops are right there. Could you fucking not react as audibly as you just did? And like, she's like, and then like covering up her mouth and shit, like, bitch, shut up. And she's like super confused about it. Like,
this is why I think the police came after her. She guilty. You can tell something. Like, the way she acted is kind of like, he ain't with y'all. All right.
We got probable cause to investigate because this little girl is a fucking weirdo. But here's the thing, man. I didn't notice it when I watched it the first time this afternoon. When I just rewatched it a little while ago before we sat down, if you look at the shot where Goku is Goku instant transmissions behind Shin and Ponzi notices it. But like, if you look, the military police dude, Goku is directly in his eye line. There is no reason that this dude should not be able to see Goku. And then the police officer takes like 2 steps forward toward the ship, and then Goku is no longer literally in front of him. I don't know. I can't imagine a show with this sort of budget would have an animation error or a storyboarding error that bad. But like, I watched it the second time. I'm like, how can this dude not see him? He's right fucking there. What's happening?
People were standing in front of him.
I don't know, man. The way that it looked to me, it did not look like that.
It's pretty big.
And
wasn't he crouching down? I thought he was crouching down. Like,
whatever it was very confusing to me, but it's okay because Goku's gonna go hide in a bush, like he's been doing since he was a child.
I want to say this was like, I felt like they should have pulled out a move. Like, I thought Supreme Kai was gonna be like,
do some magic
and make him like fucking invisible or something like that.
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought.
This was a great chance to let him do something like that, but
it would have been a cool opportunity to let Shin do something more godlike, magical, or whatever. But no, he's like, hey, I don't know. What did he do? Whisper to Goku, like, hey, I'm going to walk out of the ship, fucking teleport behind me in like 12 seconds, okay? Like, I don't know. It was just super awkward. This was one of the things where I was like, this is the best way you guys thought to execute this plan. All right,
he took
cool.
a lot of credit for it,
teleport.
too. He's like, I'll take care of this.
Yeah.
Me.
Don't worry, guys. I got this. Hey, Goku, do that thing. Do that thing so we can get out of this. Told you guys I got this.
I told you his bet's been placed on Goku. This is everything. That's why when I'm here, like, when you start to hear Goku, like, I might not be able to win, it's probably like, hold up. What do you mean? He placing a lot of faith on his abilities. And the fact that he know what they are. That's his advantage over everybody else. He knows what Goku can do.
I mean, he's a little bit of a conduit to the audience in that way, and that we're all like, hey, Goku, we've seen you do way crazy shit than this. Take care of these demon bitches. Come on. And Kaioshin's like, come on, dude. I've seen you take care of Majin Buu. Can you just, I know that we're fine. I know that you're here, but can you just like focus up a little bit, little kid Goku, please?
But I do like after this, we get to see him kind of, I can fight, guys. I'm not just here flying around. I'm not on vacation. Yeah. That's what I've been thinking he's been doing, just chilling. Yeah. Like, I'm just going back to my hometown,
visiting the homeland.
This basically is like,
I don't know,
this is why I left. This is the vibes he been giving. This is why I left here to go through. Like,
this is why I left.
There's a lot of things I miss about being younger, but probably the thing I miss most is my joints not hurting. So like, maybe if someone turned me back into a kid, I would kind of milk it until I turn back.
Talk extra shit.
Oh, man, literally no knee pain, no pain in my knee for no reason.
Yeah, I got a lot of arm.
You doing what Master Roshi doing? He because when he was in the mirror looking around, like, you know what? I ain't been this age in years.
I'm about to save so much money on Viagra.
He might not even need it no more. That's what he probably happy about.
That's
He made a
yeah.
wish for the dragon. He hasn't eaten it in a long time.
Man,
Good
like,
point. Yeah, maybe the
he
Phoenix
just
spell
need to
made
make
him
himself legal. That's all his wish need to be. I just need to be legal.
right. Master Roshi's on Earth right now trying to unstone the Dragon Balls like he never did, to be able to wish himself to be 21 so he can go out to a brothel or whatever. All right, so Ponzi, she don't like cops. I get it. Fuck the police coming straight from the underground. She drops one with her cool little taser because they want to take her in for questioning because they suspect that she hit them with that wasabi bomb. Now, I thought this was a very cool moment in the episode. A little unexpected. I expected Goku, and he eventually does, but I expected Goku to jump out of the bushes and be like, "Don't worry, everybody. I got it. I'll beat up these 15 cops." But Shin, Glorio, and Ponzi, mostly Shin and Glorio, team up to whoop the fuck out of these cops. And man, do I love the sentiment there.
I think this is when Shin said, "I got it." This is when he
he's like, yeah, well, I guess we gotta fight him. I will say, because this show is so fluidly animated and we've seen so many cool choreographed action scenes with Goku to this point, and also, yeah, he's fucking Goku. Watching Shin drop a beatdown on somebody felt a little more rudimentary. It felt a little less polished. It felt a little more raw and not quite as masterful as when Goku does it. And I thought that was an interesting thing for them to do. I think it's almost certainly has to be on purpose, but like just to demonstrate, like, yeah, he can fucking throw hands, obviously, and he's capable and he can take care of himself. But like Goku is a whole different level. Yeah, he doesn't fight every day. So that's the first cool thing I thought about that fight. The other thing that I absolutely loved, where I was like, ooh, why didn't he try that last episode? When Glorio punches that first cop and he punches him with a lightning fist and like fucking electrifies his kidneys or whatever the fuck he did, side shot. I was like, oh, that is interesting.
Show out to Goku. He was like, next time I got you.
Yeah, he's like, hey,
techniques every day too.
He's like, hey, Goku's hiding in the bushes right now. I can use this one right now, so I can still save it for later for him. Let's see. Their plane in the fight with these boys gets destroyed, gets shot out by some of the other Gendamari planes, even though that's not how they say it in Japanese, and I just said a racist thing. My bad. Their plane gets destroyed. Shin fucks off one of the planes with magic. Glorio fucks off another one of the planes with lightning. And then Goku jumps out the bushes. And for the first time, I think, like, really uses a genuine ki blast to, I assume, blow up that plane or at least push it out of orbit. I don't think he blew that plane up. I imagine those guys.
To show what he did to it.
I mean, but why wouldn't you, unless you meant to be like, oh, he just pushed them off beyond sight and they're going to come back and report blah, blah, blah. You know, like, I feel like that plane of people that he blew up, quote unquote, actually didn't get blown up. Does that make sense?
I don't know. I bet you they not reporting nothing.
We're not going back there, man. It was horrible. It was a house of horrors. So the one that I did, I don't know why this is the way that it was, but I did notice on the one that Glorio shoots down, when he hits it with his lightning, the back door falls open and everyone in the plane, like 6 dudes, just single file out the back door. I don't know. I don't know if the lightning fucked them up or they thought they had a better chance jumping out of a plane and falling to their deaths, or I don't know. Super awkward. Let's see. Police are dumb. That's my next note. Glorio and Shin whoop them. We already talked about that. They steal. There is one leftover plane. It's thankfully like the most modern, up-to-date, highest level Gendamari plane that they have to offer. But obviously, we're going to need a new PIN number for us to be able to navigate through Warp Sama to do that. But before we even get there, we have the issue of Ponzi's collar. I said this to you guys on the pre-show before the public cut. Shin, he was there that day where Goku they all watched those people get pieces of their life force sucked out because they didn't have their 3 gold coins. He was on vacation then? That's your excuse?
He wasn't. Yeah, I ain't about to overstep my authority.
But here's what's frustrating about it. She's like, oh, that's how they found us. I have this collar on. They scanned it. They tracked me here. And he's like, oh, yeah, that's right. When we were at that village yesterday, they said that don't bother running because we're going to be able to find you with them magic collars. And he's like, can I see your collar so I can destroy it? Bitch, why didn't you think of destroying that collar yesterday?
But we learned that his sister made him, so I guess that was something.
Yeah, that's the assumption. I assume that that's going to be the truth too. But yeah, Dr. Orenzu made them out of cochinite.
I thought that was the metal he brought. He already had brought when they
Kachin.
Yeah, it's not the same thing.
I don't know, man. I believe that it is, but I don't know Japanese, obviously, so I'm not sure if it's the same term, because they also use that term in Dragon Ball Super when they're building the stage for the Tournament of Power. It's built out of Kachin, the hardest material known to man, blah, blah, blah. It's element from the world of the Kais. So, like, that checks out and is the same shit as this.
But you remember the scene I'm talking about where he made that scene and he was like, oh, let's see if you can cut through this. And he'd be like,
with the sword.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So it's all supposed to be the same metals, I believe, anyway. But I just
it's like in Legacy of Goku 2, when you have to use the instant transportation to get past that to get the blast in the first level.
Oh yes, Legacy of Goku 2, a game that I'm super familiar with, thanks to our friend from the Games and Gamers podcast, Hayden. He sent that to me last year, and I've definitely played it. Maybe I've even beaten it by now. It's been a year.
So let me tell you why he didn't destroy the collar.
Okay, yeah.
Yesterday. And this is it, guys. This is 100% true. He wanted to get away from that village so he didn't have to destroy it for everyone.
I can feel that.
He didn't want to do the work.
Yeah, because you do it for one person, you got to do it for others because they all going to see that.
Exactly,
like,
man.
And then the way she reacting, it ain't no way it would have been a secret. It ain't way he could have just been like, bloop, and it's over. She would have been like,
a story,
it's not. You know what I mean?
What's the story?
I used to work at a place, right?
Me too.
And in this place, there were departments. And okay, I worked in this department over here on the left, but the department on the right rekeyed locks. But no one in the store knew how to rekey a lock but me. So I had to leave my department and go over to the other department and rekey locks all the time. So I stopped telling people I knew how to rekey locks because I didn't want to do it. Because that wasn't my job. That's not why I was there. I wasn't getting my stuff done because I had to do that.
Fair.
And Shin's the same way, man. He's there to get 3 Dragon Balls and become an adult again. He's not there to free everyone in the third demon world.
See, all right. Interesting idea. Listen, they have spent so much time together since that village. He definitely could have found some fucking time to be able to break that thing off. But the more important piece is her reaction. She's like, oh, that's your kind of magic? Oh, that spell that you did, is it just something exclusive to you? And he's like, nah, anybody can do it. And so, like the Beatles said, something about a revolution, hun. I imagine there's going to be at some point some kind of passing on of the Paka Pan spell. I don't know. I said this to you guys before, but like that joke made me chuckle because it's John Jocka John, the opening song for the series, but with a P instead of a J. That's the spell. Hardy har. I imagine he's eventually going to pass that knowledge on to other people to be able to break these locks. Maybe it's just like to everybody. Maybe that's like their version of a spirit bomb in this series. It's not like everybody give Goku your energy. It's like everybody point that shit at your neck and say Pan Paka Pan and think about magical stuff and it's going to break your collar and you'll all be free. Something like that. Revolution, baby.
I wonder if that's true though. I wonder if that's just something his people can do and be able to break it. I don't think she would make that like a collar if they could just figure out that spell and then do it. I just feel like that will defeat the point. But maybe.
I agree. Yeah. It would make way more sense for Shin to be the person to be like, yeah, I can break it because my sister fucking made it and I'm the same race as her.
His people. Like I would understand more if his people. I don't know if just anybody can do that spell and it would work. Maybe that's something he will have to see. Maybe he don't know. Maybe he doesn't know that for sure. But he could be lying too. Maybe he like, what's the chance of us actually running on to somebody else that you're gonna actually do that for or some shit and actually try it out? But I just don't think that's all the way true. It doesn't make sense to me.
Then we get the reveal. We've been calling this motherfucker by his wrong name his whole life. We have a very much a Goku Kakarot situation here, Shin's real name is revealed because Ponzi all of a sudden is super interested in this dude. He's like, wait a minute, what's your name? I know we've been traveling around for a couple days, but what's your name? Oh, Kaioshin, that's your outside name. What's your real name, dog? Nahare.
Maybe that's why she didn't really care about him. Maybe she just thought, like, damn, you don't even respect yourself. You over here calling yourself Earth shit? Fuck you.
You're over here using your white person name? So Nahare, Nahare. I think it's an interesting choice for original name just because I feel like that name, it assumes no gender. It is genderless, much like Shin is. I like how Goku tries to call him by his real name at first, and he's like, nah, I'm just going to call you Kaioshin. This is stupid.
But this does kind of confirm to us what we've been thinking, that there is going to be a whole wish at the end to not remember any of this.
It makes sense.
We got some new information that it's never brought up before, and it's a little more important than, hey, we went to the demon realm one time.
Yeah, I definitely had that thought as well. So we need to get a new pin to be able to use this Gendamori spaceship that we just stole from the cops to be able to use Warp Sama. Thankfully, though, Ponzi has Peru, the man in the chair. He looks like a salamander or a bug. Is it a bug? It's like an ant, maybe. I don't know. I'm not good with bugs. I don't like bugs. He's drinking coffee, and he's able to hack up a new pin number for them. So they have the new pin number, but I just think that it's interesting they've given us another little character to be able to get us out of tight spots from a tech perspective. She can just call into her fucking assistant back at the castle and be like, hey, dude, I'm in a tight spot. Use your computer knowledge to get me out of it. So the idea is now that
very
we have
resourceful.
I mean, resourceful in that she's the princess of a demon realm, but you know, like rich people are resourceful. Like, oh, you're so resourceful, rich guy. It's like, am I resourceful or do I just have money? You know what I mean? Yeah. So now that we got
Money
the new plane,
resource, man.
We do need resources. Now that we got the new plane that can fly twice as fast without shaking, we're going to be able to work through the demon realm much more quickly. And we are on the way to the Tamagami as Ponzi and Peril are.
I wish they would have camouflaged it more, but that's just me.
Camouflage what?
The ship. I mean, like, to me, it's like when they even go to the next town, they even like, oh, we thought y'all was the bad guys.
Yeah. Like, hey, did you steal that ship? Where'd you get that ship from? That's a cop ship. Yeah, we fucked them up. Cool.
Yeah.
It do show everybody on like fuck the police mindset. Like, yeah, fuck them. And
Dude,
we didn't
I'm
have
telling you.
But then, you don't know, them callers, they might can hear that. So niggas about to get their ass whooped.
Maybe, yeah, that's right. Oh shit, dude, that'd be a funny way. Be like, man, we heard that old guy down at the fucking village cantina or whatever talking some shit about us. We're gonna go down there and investigate. That's where our nice ship went, those motherfuckers. This has been a fun one. So as we kind of set route for the Tamagami, we get word that Vegeta, Hybis, Piccolo, and Bulma have arrived in the third demon realm, and presumably they're not too far away. And Ponzi's like, yeah, should we wait for him? And Goku, being the cocky, fucking disrespectful dickhead he is, he's like, nah, just tell him to catch up. I got to fight one of these by myself first, see how it goes. And they set off to go fight the Tamagami. They land. He looks at it. It looks like this, you know, like we saw before, like this giant statue out in the distance. And, you know, he has to eat more food, more demon food. I swear to God, man, I feel like it's so intentional to this point. Like every episode they stop to grub and it's some crazy looking demon food. This week it's like, I don't know, like large size olives on like skewers, but the olives aren't olives and they have like demon mouths on them. And Goku's just chowing the fuck down on them. In addition to his Monpuku buns. So,
but let's remember, Goku only eats like a third of them. He leaves so many on the table when he goes to the bathroom. It's mind blowing.
Yeah, I did kind of think about that, but also the buns earlier, maybe that kind of had him feeling a little bit fuller, but maybe he just really had to rock a piss in that moment, or he was too excited to fight. I don't know.
Or maybe, you know, do he stuff himself before he fight? Maybe just, you know, get a decent little pick-me-up meal. I'm not for sure. I know he do like to eat before he fight though, type shit. So
I kind of thought that he was going to take a shit before the fight, but he's in there and out of there so quickly that he just had to rock a piss. I'm pretty sure. It would have been funny if it was a shit, but
we don't know how fast he poops.
that could have been a quick whoop whoop. I mean, he was doing instant transmission, so I mean, he could have bang came out of there.
He instantly transmitted his poop into the toilet.
I fucking hate you guys so much.
I'm mad they didn't make it. I'm mad Shin didn't like, I got this, guys. Hey, go ahead and pick Vegeta up. Goku, don't you got a move where you can go sense him? Well, I guess that's where they limited his ability of it.
Yeah, now that Vegeta and Piccolo and Bulma and people whose key signature that you're familiar with, now that they're here that you can lock onto, I'm assuming it's got to be a distance thing. Like he was within 20 feet, 30 feet of Shin. It's super close by. Be able to do it through the demon realm, I assume is going to be an issue for him. I thought it was interesting they touched the subject at all today when it would have been so easy to just be like, oh, Kaioshin used his magic and he made it look like Goku's invisible, or he made Goku look like somebody else or something. Instead, they chose to do the instantaneous movement thing. And it's like, this has made it a little bit more confusing and convoluted. And why isn't he using this more frequently to get to places faster? Especially if everyone can just put their hands on his back and he'll go. Whatever. Thinking about a stupid ass cartoon way too much. Story of my fucking life.
Then they can't say the demons don't have ki because you just said Shin has it. So they kind of write themselves into a corner.
I think that they don't really know what the definite, the concept of ki seems like an outside world kind of thing, like how the demon, how she refers to that's your outside world name or whatever. The concept of ki must be like an outside world kind of thing. And I think ki and magic are very much parallels because every time they talk about ki, they're like, holy shit, that's your magic. Like, I don't know. I feel like ki and magic are very much in the same kind of realm, same kind of lane, if not even potentially the same thing. But if you're a demon or a Majin, the way you use your ki it manifests differently than it would be just like a regular energy blast or something. And that's why Glorio's is lightning and
seems like they get more Star Wars moves.
I'm telling you, man. Kira Sriyama was watching a lot of Star Wars on his way out the door with that fucking hematoma or the fuck he died from.
That move Shin did, I was like, okay. That looked like a great Star Wars move right there. When he blew that ship right back into that other ship.
I mean, the idea of them searching the ship actually is kind of like A New Hope, where the stormtroopers come on and they hide in the cargo hold. Kind of the same vibes, but they don't hide in a cargo hold. They just have Goku teleport off the ship and hide in a bush. There are so many more Star Wars things that I'm totally not even thinking about that I'm sure are in this show that other people have clocked that I haven't, but I've clocked at least 7, and it's just so obvious. It's so obvious. The twin fucking desert sons of Tatooine. All right. So we're going off to fight Tamagami number 3. I assume that these work in reverse order, meaning 3 is the weakest, 2 is the middle, number 1 is probably the strongest. So that kind of makes sense for the arc we're traveling here. Tamagami number 3 is a big, robust, I will say.
Loud.
Super loud. Actually, that was one of my only truly laugh out loud, this is fucking hilarious episode. Moments of the episode. Goku asks the guy, he's like, so how do I fight them? Well, all you got to do is challenge them. Has anybody challenged him lately? 20 years ago, some fucking idiot with a gun came through here. We told him to knock it off, but he died. So what do I do? Well, you just challenge him. Wait a minute. He's not thinking about fighting him, is he? And then he goes out there and he's like, excuse me? Trying to be real polite and shit. And the Tamagamis, I might even drop in the sound because the sound made me so fucking...
It was rude.
Out. Coming and shit. That was so fucking funny, man. And they just basically square up to get ready for their fight. Nyobo versus big gluttonous Tamagami's huge person flattening hammer. So next week, the episode name, as you guys may have guessed, Tamagami. Fucking quality. I did notice a couple things. They didn't do that normal intro thing of this is Goku and he's a strong guy he's a Saiyan and him and his friends grew up. They didn't do that little recap in the beginning of this episode. which I was like, cool. That means they're going to have more things to animate and put on screen through the episode. That makes sense. This is the longest. I'm pretty sure that this is the longest preview that we've gotten to this point in any of the Daima episodes. Not that it really matters. It doesn't tell you a ton, but there were way more visuals included in this one than were in the episode last week, especially. Like last week's episode was like a plane flying and shooting bullets and Goku rolling down a hill through a bush or something. This one, we see a little bit of footage of Goku and the Tamagami fighting for next week. We see Glorio and Arinsu link up on the phone, presumably to discuss their diabolical plot a little bit more. We see a little bit of the B team of Vegeta, Piccolo, Bulma, and Hybis on the way to meet up with them.
Bulma was holding her nose in that because she thinks the demon world smells.
It does smell.
Is that going to be
I'm
important?
surprised she is on the, like...
She's the smartest motherfuckers in the world, man. She can fix most things.
The world, they ain't in the world anymore.
She made that clear.
That's a good point.
They got a whole bunch of elements that she don't know about.
She's gonna get some kachin and take it home. And
well, I guess this is the way she can.
But that's from
get more connections.
I almost said the real world, but that's from the human world.
Kachin's from the world of the Kais. It said this is another little interesting distinction I caught in there, where I was like, "Hold on a minute! I thought the world of the Kais was the demon world, but no, it would be the world of the Kais is in our universe, not the demon realm."
But you gotta be like the same place.
Oh, maybe that. I was gonna say. So it is alluded to that she makes the collars during Demon King Dabura's reign. So these things have been around for a while, but in one of those first few episodes when they first go through Warp's like, somebody went through Earth recently through here. Oh, who was it? It was your sister, Arinsu. I was like, oh, maybe she went to the Kai planet then to get that material, but that wouldn't really make sense in terms of timing.
They gotta be in the same dimension.
I think.
Or maybe Supreme Kai just don't know everything. Maybe this is the same. This metal is actually there too. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah, maybe it's an original thing from the second demon realm where his family's or his race is from, the Glint race. And when they made the Kai planet that they live in Universe 7, maybe that kind of comes over with them. I don't know. We do also get a shot of Goma and Degasu, who show up briefly for next week at some point as well. So next week seems like it's going to be a fun episode. This one felt, as much as I love to beat up the cops, it did feel a little fillerish until we finally get to see him. And just the sheer size and scale of the Tamagami versus Goku, I think is going to be a lot of the charm and the fun parts of that fight. But I guess we'll see what happens. Gentlemen, any final thoughts on this last episode before we wrap it up for today?
I got two things. Have you ever played a Metroid sequel?
No, I played regular Metroid on Nintendo, but it was my cousin's, so I never really played it, you know what I mean?
So the first thing that happens in every Metroid sequel is Samus loses her powers, then has to spend the rest of the game getting them back. That's cool. What this is. So Goku's slowly getting his power back. But I was wondering, to reiterate, I do think this is one of the most important episodes so far, because we had a lot happen. We found out Goku's slowly getting his powers back. He can instant teleport again. They got a ship that can let him finally travel at a decent speed. He got to the Tamagotchi. And then our dudes are in the demon realm. There's a lot going on, man.
Maybe I'm just miserable piece of shit, but
you like to see fighting. That's what you want. You want to see some more fighting.
No, I'd like to see some advancement of the plot, and by that I mean not the plot that I already knew was going to happen based off of the events of last week.
It has to happen. It all happened.
You guys mean to tell me that in this episode, after last week, the B team makes it to the demon realm and Goku fucking finally goes to the Tamagami?
Last week, we didn't think they was going to be here this episode. Because shit messed up.
I am surprised that they did find the Tamagami in as fast an order as they did. I figured they would have met up before that. But also, it's not super surprising that Goku's like, fuck those guys. I want to go fight it by myself. But in terms of pacing, I think the most surprising thing to me in this episode was the second half of the episode's pacing. It cuts through a lot of shit and it gets you to the next point fairly quickly, even though they do take like a solid 3-4 minute break for them to sit around and eat like demon fucking balls on skewers or whatever. Pacing was strange in this one is my point.
we're on Goku time now. His pacing is strange. He's a strange boy.
He's a strange boy. We said it almost at the same exact time. Wow. So those are Josh's last two thoughts. Ray, you got anything before we wrap it up?
Only thing, I just want to see how Piccolo interactions with certain demon people be and how they interact with him, because technically he's a demon too. So
he is.
He's a Namek.
Oh yeah. Remember that time they used to call him Demon King Piccolo? That was cool.
That wasn't him. That was his dad.
Oh shit! All right.
That's his alternate ego.
Well, I'm pretty sure it was his dad. But yeah, no, you're right. We make jokes here. So I guess we're going to be doing these each week. Usually Friday nights we recorded them. They go up early to patrons, and then we're getting them out at some point in the next day or two after that for YouTube and the podcast feeds. If you enjoyed it and you managed to sit through the end of me and my two buddies here fucking talking shit, make sure you subscribe, like the video, like it on whatever podcast app you're listening on, and subscribe so that way these get pushed to your feed each week. And we will see you next time. Make sure you check out Josh's podcast, Dad's Anime Stache Adventure, and Raysean's podcast, RGAP, or the Raysean Gadson Anime Podcast. There are links in the show notes for those. And we will see you next time. Super dope.